following podcast is being brought to you by the Defy Life Podcast Network.
This week on the Defy Life Podcast, the guys discuss the Amber Guyger trial, NFL quarterbacks, Al's baseball roundup, and they reveal the official Defy Life top 5 black male actors of all time. And as always, we wrap things up with some trivia. All that and more. Let's get to it. Yeah, that's what it is. I guess we gotta do it then. You alright? 2, 2, out, money, West Coast. Let's get it. Strap in, let's take a ride. Oh yeah, it's about that time, right? Been waiting all week to get to this. It's finally time to defy life. Let's chop it up, keep it trail, no other way. That's what we do. We might disagree, but it's all love. Guarantee we gon' speak the truth. Yeah, this hit different. My guys with me, now who's with us? Stick around for a few minutes. It's contagious. You'll get it. You downloaded the realest. Don't feel us, but get out. You not rocking with Defy Life, then what's your life about? This ain't the Defy Life. Told you. This is the Defy Life. I'm gonna let this ride out though. This is the Defy Life. This is the Defy Life. Welcome back to the Defy Life Podcast, powered by the Defy Life Podcast Network. Thank you for listening. You can find us on all your favorite podcast platforms, and now we are available at defylifepods.com as well. As always, we encourage you to like, subscribe, and give us a 5-star rating whenever you listen. You can also find us on all social media platforms at Go Defy Life. This episode is sponsored by Bud Bottles, home of the Bud Bottle and the Bud Freshener. Please visit budbottles.com for your odor eliminating needs. This is episode 127, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, J.R. Glymph, joined as always by my wonderful co-host, Alvin Glymph, West Coast J. And tonight we got Regular Scott and Hollywood Paul. What's good, Al?
Man, I feel like I should be out celebrating a guilty verdict somewhere.
We don't know the sentence yet.
I know, but I feel like I'm missing the celebration. Like maybe somebody pulled my black card and they didn't call me and say, hey, we meeting down in Harlem to celebrate. We finally got some type of justice. But I'm good, man. Can't complain. Just good to be back. Good to be here. You know, I was in South Carolina for a few days, and now I'm back. So good to be back in Georgia.
Absolutely. Good to have you in the house of the Lord one more time.
Yes, sir.
No doubt. West Coast, what's good, man?
Oh, you know, I'm over here chilling as usual. Got an interesting sound thing going on right now, so I'm feeling real magnanimous with the voice.
All right. Cool. Regular Scott, how's it going, sir? Regular Scott,
doing all right.
Dr. Scott. Good, man. Thank you for joining us.
I'm doing. Just on mute, talking to myself. You know how I do. Just doing regular things over here. But appreciate the invite. This should be a fun episode.
No doubt, absolutely. And last but certainly not least for now, we still got some more people coming through. But Hollywood Paul, what's good with you, sir?
What's good, fellas?
Ain't nothing. Everybody who's not familiar with that voice, that is the voice of Hollywood Paul. You probably might not know his voice unless you listened to trivia last season, but I'm sure you know his words. If you like reading erotica and you go to defylife.com, you like reading some good stories about some good healthy sexual appetites. Hollywood Paul, what's good, man? It's good to have you here, man.
Glad to be here, fellas. Thanks for the invite.
Absolutely, man. We will also be joined shortly, hopefully by Yoshi. Yoshi said he'd be here, but Yoshi's traveling. So we will get him shortly, and also by movie man Migs as soon as he gets out of a theater. So why, you ask? We will be revealing the official Defy Life top 5 black male actors of all time. So I could not do this without having Hollywood Paul, Regular Scott, and movie man Migs on to discuss some actors, especially when we're talking about greatest actors of all time. You know, I had to have these three gentlemen on, so thank you all for being here. But first, before we get to absolutely, but first, before we get to the greatest actors of all time, we will have some regular, normal Defy Life fuckery, and we're gonna talk about some other shit first. So, as always, before we get to the meat of the show, it's got a little bit of house cleaning to do. Everybody, you know, the temperature's changing. It's fall officially now, so go check out the podcast gear on DefyLifeGear.com. Get your podcast sweatshirts. Everybody's got their own sweatshirts. Regular Scott's got his sweatshirts out there for Take a Knee. The Diagnosis, Chab Dog. Of course, we got our sweatshirts. AEN, Lenny Kim got theirs. Relationship Status with CL, Yusuf, and Neek. Thomas has his for Speak the Truth. So they all out there. Y'all go check out the podcaster sweatshirts. And also, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so go check out the Defy Life Breast Cancer Awareness T-shirts. Have those in ladies and men's. We appreciate it if you do support our support of breast cancer awareness. 10% of those proceeds do go to the Sisters Network, which is the only breast cancer support system founded and run by black women. So 10% of the proceeds do go to them. If you don't support through Defy Life, support through somebody. So definitely check all that stuff out at DefyLifeGear.com. And also, if you see Yoshi in these streets, hit him up for a t-shirt. We got Defy Life t-shirts in black and royal on hand now. So Yoshi just got the first shipment of those. He acting stingy. He don't want to send them out to nobody. So definitely check them out. Yoshi has those on hand. And you get 25% off if you buy them directly from Yoshi. So that's all I got, man. Let's get into the meat of the show. Really quick, we only got one news tidbit tonight, but Al, you already mentioned it. It's kind of newsworthy. Al.
Yes, sir.
Amber Guyger is guilty. First question, did you expect this or were you expecting some bullshit?
I was expecting some bullshit. I'm a black male, damn near 50. I live in America. I would be a fool not to be expecting some bullshit.
Yeah.
So I was shocked. I mean, literally, like, mouth open shock. Like, wow. Just shocked. I'll just leave it there. Right. Just really shocked.
Yeah.
Not because not shocked because I didn't think she was guilty or didn't deserve the shock, because some court of law said they thought that it was illegal and someone should be convicted guilty of a cop murdering somebody. So yeah, I was shocked. Right.
Yeah. I think one of the things that kind of helped was the fact that they didn't move it out to the suburbs and they had a varied jury, and kind of helped in that regard. And the fact that she was off duty, so it kind of made it citizen on citizen in that regard instead of direct cop versus citizen. And she's a woman. If it was a straight white male, he probably would have got off, but that's another conversation. West Coast, were you shocked at the fact that they found her guilty?
I mean, definitely. Like the idea that she was like, I thought that she was going to get off just because she is a white woman.
Mm-hmm. White lady
like,
tears.
Straight up, I thought that she cried on the stand, all the et ceteras. I thought all of that was going to work. White women's tears tend to work.
We've seen that throughout the history of this country. It works.
Right. So yeah, I'm absolutely not necessarily excited that somebody got killed, but at the same time, I'm excited that somebody got convicted for it.
All right. Okay. All right. Regular Scott, what were your thoughts? Did you think she was getting off, man?
So I'm of the mindset where I think I'm more shocked that it's had to come to this point for us to get this verdict. Like, this should have been a layup. Like, this shouldn't have taken this long and all this, and I'm not shocked, because what I'm more shocked about is, like I just said, like how does something that's so black and white, no pun intended, but it literally is black and white, what happened and what should be like the ramifications of it. Like the fact that it was even in question or in doubt is just, in 2019, is baffling to me. So I was shocked, but I'm just more shocked at the proceeding to get to this point, which is absolutely ridiculous.
I got you. Yeah. Paul, did you what were your thoughts? Did you think we was gonna get some bullshit?
Honestly, I did. Based on just, like we've all touched on the history of how things have gone in this country with certain situations, when you have the complexion for protection, as the saying goes, and the fact that she is a uniform officer, and you don't know, the guy she was texting, the other cop that she was involved with, how far their reach goes as well to up the chain. I did not expect this, especially if you're seeing things like Casey Anthony and things of that matter. I thought she was going to get off and go right back on the force, actually. So I was very shocked that this happened. Now I am interested to see what the sentencing will be, because we're just like I guess you say we're halfway there in getting justice, because we all know that if the tables were turned, if that man would have walked into her house and shot her, I don't think that he would. I definitely think he this would have been a slam dunk, like Scott said. This would have been a layup for him. So I'm still shocked.
No question. No question.
He would have been dead upon arrival, and no question about it. So what I do think was a very shrewd move by the judge, which created a lot of uproar initially, was the judge allowed the jury to take the castle doctrine, which is essentially the stand your ground law. If someone enters your residence, you do have the right to shoot them on your property. The judge allowed the jury to take that into consideration. So at first everybody was in an uproar, but it was actually a genius move, because what this does now, it takes that off the table for an appeal. So now, I'm sure there'll be numerous appeals by Ms. Guyger's defense team. They cannot use that in their appeal, so it basically wipes out the appeal process. Very, very shrewd move by the judge, and apparently this judge is very hard on sentencing for murder. So just, Guyger's looking at a minimum of 5 years, but they're saying, based on this judge, it's probably looking at more along the lines of 20 minimum. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
So we'll, but
she's guilty anyway. So
right,
that,
right. And she's a convicted felon. She cannot be a police officer again. So there's that. So it's I don't want to, like you said, you don't want to, somebody died in this process.
Right.
But it is, it is for us. It's good to see justice on the other end of it. And it is a shame that this happens so rarely. We can kind of count them on one hand and celebrate it when it happens. Like, that's a shame that we have to celebrate justice. But we talked about this last week, and, we were saying it wasn't looking good for her. And there was plenty of opportunity for it to go off the rails and, start ushering in the shenanigans. But they tried, but it didn't happen.
But remember this instance.
Okay.
And who might this be?
What's up?
Gotta be Yoshi. There he is.
Oh shit.
My bad. Show up, move intro music.
Right. I'm thinking I should address you as a jive. Turn up, man.
Hey man, sipping on some head, just got back in.
What's up?
Just what's happening, man? I don't know who I interrupted. I just felt like that's how I needed to come in.
Nah, you good, man. We were just wrapping up the Amber Guyger trial. I was expecting, I was expecting you at any moment with the what's to be called a fucker point. So yeah.
What's up?
Want to hear it?
My bad. Hit the wrong button on that one.
Oh man.
How you guys doing, man?
Good, man. All is well.
Doing good.
Doing good, bro.
Oh man. Well, you actually came in just at the right time.
Okay.
We were just wrapping up the Amber Guyger trial, and we will get to our first listener question. And our first listener question is from Wade in Macon, Georgia. So Wade wants to talk backup quarterbacks in the NFL. There's been a slew of backup quarterbacks to kind of take on starting and major roles so far. We're only 4 weeks into the season. But Wade wants to know, who's the most promising backup QB to play this season? He said in his mind, Daniel Jones does not count because he's now the starter. But I'm going to throw him in there since we got a Giants fan on the call. So you're looking at Daniel Jones. You're also looking at guys like Bridgewater, Gardner Minshew, Mason Rudolph, Chase Daniel, Luke Falk, with the Jets. Since we are throwing in Daniel Jones, who do you think's been the most promising of the guys who weren't started at the beginning of the season?
Well, I guess he said who is going to, or who is.
As of right now, who's the most promising?
As of right now, I would say that Daniel Jones, not Danny Dimes, but Chase. I would want to say Chase Daniel.
Chase Daniel. Okay.
I think the reason why I think he's the most promising is because he's backed up by a very good defense game, and anything he does is better than what they already had. So,
Mr.
Trubisky.
Man, the best thing that happened to the Bears was Trubisky got hurt.
Wow.
So, I mean that's a number one stuff right there.
And I guess,
man, Pooh would have beef with this whole conversation. I'm not here.
Yeah, right. That's the beauty of it. Yeah. West Coast. What about? Go ahead.
That's not taking anything from anybody else, though. I would have said Bridgewater had he not taken that sack.
Yeah.
At the end of the game, like I would have said, I thought Bridgewater would have been that, but I just think Chase Daniel's a little bit more polished. He's in a better situation, I think, for him because of who he's following. Like, shit, Pooh could go play quarterback at this point. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, and be better than Mitchell Trubisky. So,
I think that's what Pooh is this week. That's what the secretary told us.
That's what this. He's trying not to be Chase Daniel's backup.
Yeah.
That's about.
All right.
Yeah, I can see that. He's still got a little bit of an arm there.
Right. Yeah. I think the only concern, I saw Stephen A. talking about it. They couldn't find knee pads that were well equipped enough to protect Pooh's knees. So,
will fall apart. Pooh got the old man knee.
Right. They were trying to locate the knee guards from the Tin Man on the Wizard of Oz, but they can't locate them. So Pooh's just kind of hanging out in Chicago right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like Chase Daniel, and he's done it. I mean, Chase put up numbers in the NFL, so not a bad one. West Coast, what about you? Who's the most promising backup so far?
So I'm a fan of the stash in Jacksonville. Gardner Minshew impressed me. There was a couple of legitimate pocket presence moves that took me back to playing Madden a few years back and having to do the pocket presence drills where you dodge the footballs flying at you. Like ability to stay in the pocket and still make plays. He also has a running game and a defense behind him. Like I think that he is he's playing way too poised for a rookie, and I think a lot of that is probably still that nobody has film, and like why would we have film on Gardner Minshew?
All right.
So, but as of right now, I think that his ceiling is non-existent. Really, it's through the roof.
Yeah. And you know, he got what they call moxie. You know.
Yeah. Like he's got an overall. His attitude is pretty fascinating to me.
Right.
He looks like he's having fun.
Yeah.
He looks like he's in control of the huddle.
Yeah.
Like he's and he's making plays, man. Like the kid's doing stuff that is it's just he looks like a good quarterback. Like he really overall does.
Yeah. And anytime you got Leonard Fournette rushing for 220 yards, it don't hurt.
Right. So, it is helpful. It's helpful when Fournette's actually having a good Fournette day.
All right.
Because we ain't seen one of them in a couple years.
Right. So, in which, you know, kind of probably speaks for in defense of Leonard Fournette. Now he's got a legit quarterback. He ain't facing 8 people in the box every time he's running the ball. So, you know, good for Mr. Minshew and his mustache.
Yeah, and his mustache.
That's why I like him.
All right.
Stash.
Yeah, all right. Paul, what about you? Who's
I'm going with Minshew as well, man. I mean, I like the stash. You know what I'm saying? And I like the fact that, you know, he's not afraid to step up in a big moment. You know what I mean? I mean, a lot of guys choke in that moment, especially when you don't have the reps behind you, you know? So,
right.
And Jay hit on the point. Like I was going to mention him. His footwork was amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, he looked like he had a little bit of little collard greens and some pinto beans for the game. You know what I'm saying?
Right. You know why I like Gardner Minshew most out of everything though? It's hard. Anytime you can be a white dude and pull off a mustache and not look like a porn star or a serial killer,
Bruh,
that's
but
very
he
fucking
like
impressive.
He still does though to me.
He looks like both.
You ask me.
Straight out of Vice City, you know what I'm
like
saying?
He looked like a cool ass dude with a mustache. Like he looked like the dude you want to go. Like I've seen some white dudes. I'll be like, yo, man, that mustache is creepy. His just looked like, you know, he a funny dude with a mustache. I want to go have a couple beers with him after the game.
He don't look like he could have been with Charlie Manson's coach.
Don't Vice City.
He looked like Jeff Fox.
Yeah,
He looks
like
like
he's
one of the
just,
guys
right.
that was in the studio in Vice City, the porn studio. You know, like he looks like one of those guys.
He's porn star adjacent.
Like he pulled up in a Countach, you know.
Right.
He had 2 girls, you know, in the passenger seat, sitting on one of them sitting on each other's lap, you know.
Like I'm not a
He's
porn
that
star. I just play one on TV. Yeah, man. So I don't know. That's what he looked like. Like he just, you know.
You look like a porn star.
Yeah. No shit is Migs. What's up, man?
What up, yeah?
Ain't nothing. Let's go.
I was just chilling, man. Just got back from this movie.
No doubt, no doubt. We ain't doing nothing but talking about porn stars and quarterbacks. Alvin.
Yeah.
Yo.
What about you, man? Who's the most promising second string quarterback so far?
I'm gonna go with Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes, as Yoshi called him. To me, what I like about that dude is 2 things. One, I like his athleticism and like his decision making, like when to use his running ability, and I also like his poise on the field and then off the field. Out of all these dudes, I think he's the only one who's replacing a legend. Like people are stepping in for a legend and keeping a seat warm, but Daniel Jones has the torch. It's been passed to him for, you know, now the job is yours. And doing that in New York for, you know, where the fan base is real tough and the media is real tough. And yeah, he came in, you know, in a season where there's not a lot of expectations, but I think he's done really, really well. Team has rallied behind him. So that's who I'm, and in this division, you know, the NFC East it's not something I enjoy saying, but I think he's the most promising out of that crew.
Okay. Migs, you're a Giants fan. Do you concur, or do you think, you know, who would you think is the most promising of the backup quarterbacks who's had to take over this year?
I mean, I gotta go with, I'm biased because that's my team.
All right.
And I like DJ. I'm not going to, because I for one, I know better. Now I liked him in the preseason. I like what he did there. And like I say, he showed his athleticism. and I said that during those. And I like what he's doing now. And like the biggest thing for me is he's got the team rally behind him, got the fan base rally behind him, but he's got some tests coming up. Not to say that, okay, you played, you didn't play, some professional teams, but you got some big tests coming up with these Vikings and these Patriots. So we're gonna see if they can keep this heat going. But he's doing big stuff for coming in there like that. I thought he should have started the whole season. For real, I thought Eli was gonna be gone a couple seasons ago. Like he was gonna go out then, but he did it. It's all right.
You've been talking to Yoshi. You and Yoshi been having the same conversation, I guess.
I mean, it's all good though, because he's helping the guy out, and I think he knows, like, all right, look, this guy, he wants to play, he wants to win, and the team is rallied behind him like they didn't do with Eli. He wasn't really getting the team fired up, and not to say that everything was his fault, because it wasn't, but you as that quarterback, that's part of your job, is to do that. It's riled up and to get them behind you, and that's on both sides of the field. So you see that a little bit more now. That defense need work big time, and like I said, they got some tests coming up. So we're going to really see here with these, like I said, with these Vikings, especially with these Patriots. But there's some fire in them that hasn't been there for at least 3 or 4 seasons.
True.
And I like the dude because I watched the other game. What's Buddy's name on the Saints? The backup QB on there.
Bridgewater.
Yeah. I like that dude. I like what I seen. That was the only game I seen him in, but I liked him.
Yeah, I like Bridgewater. All right.
Yeah, that dude was he was getting it popping out there. I was like, okay.
It's good to see Teddy out there.
I like the fact that Bridgewater wore those patent leather Concords. I'm just saying.
I was getting it.
Yeah, just let everybody know he's from Florida. All right.
Oh yeah. So is he crazy?
Yeah, with them patent leather shoes.
He on the field with some patent leather Jordans,
right?
Ball.
Right.
They didn't help. What is that all about?
They were on turf. They wear anything they want to on turf.
They can name for themselves, baby.
Yeah, right. Regular Scott, what say you?
I'm going with Minshew. It should be Teddy Bridgewater though. Like to me, like everybody saying they liked what they saw. To me, he looked scared. Like he looked like he don't have the confidence to take that shot down the field. And when he does, like he's off. Like I don't like what I've seen out of him. It should be him. Like he should be filling into this offense seamlessly, and he should be using his legs more. Like I know he's coming off his injury, but I don't know. He looks
knee
scared.
Literally exploded.
But I mean, then if that's the case, then you need to let Hill take over. Like I don't know if you want. To me, he looks scared. That's how I feel about Teddy Bridgewater. But it should be him. But I like Minshew.
Yeah, I don't think that's kind of been Teddy's game. Since even when he was before the injury, he's kind of been a guy who kind of kills you by 1,000 cuts. He doesn't really take a lot of shots down the field. He does look a little tentative, especially with his legs, understandably so. I think Teddy has the most weapons to work with out of all these guys. So hopefully he opens it up, before Breeze comes back and we can see a lot more big plays out of Teddy.
Well, that's what I agree with that. Like he got a lot of weapons, and I don't feel like he's taking shots.
He's not. Like they simplified the offense significantly. Like apparently he's only averaging 4.7 yards per throw,
right,
or something along those lines. Like they basically just gave him his 1-2 get out of there reads.
Right.
It's like he doesn't have the offense isn't open for him to take shots.
But who do they have besides Thomas and Kamara though? Like
say it again.
I mean, okay, he's a great punt returner.
Jared Cook.
Yeah,
Jared Cook.
He's reliable.
Yeah, Taysom Hill still counts because he'll catch the ball randomly.
But like they said on the broadcast, they can't really maximize and using him because he's their backup quarterback, so you can't risk injury.
Right, but who out of the guys we're talking about, who has better guys than Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara?
Off top.
Oh, good question.
I mean, because even if you're either going to double Michael Thomas or he's going to have single coverage, and if he has single coverage, you should be able to get him the ball every time.
And I mean, especially with Saquon hurt, I don't think anybody.
Yeah, he definitely got the better offensive repertoire of this list.
Yeah,
look, Ingram about to step up.
No, Ingram's in Baltimore now, so
talking about Latavius Murray.
He's about Latavius Murray's there now. Mark Ingram's in Baltimore now. He's rocking with Lamar Jackson now. So, yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, unless you want to, Mason Rudolph's only had 2 games. I mean, I guess, James Conner and Juju, but they're not really, he's 2 games in. So I would take Kamara and Thomas over any of those guys supporting cast. But I don't know, really good question. I don't think we've ever seen this many injuries to prominent quarterbacks this early in the season, like in a long time. And apparently, reports are that the Patriots are withholding an injury to Tom Brady. This is why he's missed practice over the last couple days. So that could get interesting. And they signed a new backup quarterback. So
wow. I don't think we've seen this type of injury, but I also don't remember a time when the backups were this successful. All of these quarterbacks on this list, I guess Chase didn't win, but they've been playing well. I mean, you know what I mean? So I think they all won except for Luke Falk.
Yeah, but I mean, how much of that is legit based on the fact that they know film on them?
Yeah.
Like, how do you game plan for something you just playing? Like, you got to go to a base defense. You can't try and take away a weapon. So
yeah, I'm sure a lot of them will come back down to earth. A little based off of, like you said, no film, but a lot of guys come in and as backups and suck even when teams don't have film. So.
And you know what? To your point, West Coast, like about the film thing with Rudolph in Pittsburgh, that's why I think it was real smart of them to have utilized the Wildcat and the different types of formations. Yeah. So that way you can't really accumulate as much film on him. So now you could probably get away with another Wildcat type offense throughout the game. It won't probably another week or so before teams start catching on. Then you can let Rudolph really do his thing, and you have at least another couple weeks of him being able to kind of have a little bit more freedom without as much film on him. So I thought that was really smart of the Steelers to game plan like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And at least, give him a few weeks to get comfortable.
Right.
Some short throws. Like you talked about Teddy Bridgewater's average yards per throw. You know what Mason Rudolph's was? 2.3 yards per throw. That's how you get a dude comfortable. That's how you go 24 for 28. And 16 of the catches are by running backs.
Yep.
That's how you get a dude comfortable.
That's what we were talking about Kyle Allen with that. His running back, his overall offense right now is give the ball to Christian McCaffrey, and if they blitz, Greg Olsen is right there.
All right.
That's the whole offense.
Absolutely. But kudos to all of those offensive coordinators for being flexible, because you do see a lot of teams that try to stick with what their starter did and not be as pliable to the backups and end up 3-6 before the starter comes back. So kudos to all those teams for being flexible and playing to those guys' strengths as well. But damn good question, Wade. We only taking one listener question this week, and you got it because we got some actors to talk about. So shout out to you, Wade. Very good question. Y'all, we appreciate these questions every week. If you got a question you want to answer, you got something you want to get off your chest, or you just disagree with something we say, hit us up. You can email us at info@godefylife.com, or you can hit us up on social media at info@godefylife, and we'll address anything you guys want to talk about. Before we get to these actors, though, we got to discuss something we ain't discussed in a while. We always, back around to it every few weeks or so. But y'all know what time it is?
Of course. I guess I'm the only one.
It's time for
Owl's Baseball Roundup.
That's what I'm talking about.
College baseball roundup. Absolutely. So it's almost playoff time, man. Al, what's going on in the world of Major League Baseball?
Bruh, it's playoff season, man.
Mm-hmm.
For the casual fan, this is when they sit down and start watching some baseball.
This is when they realize that baseball season is here.
Oh yeah, it is a sport in this country called Major League Baseball, and it's playoff time. So let's go to a game or watch it on TV because it does turn up in terms of intensity. So it is a different type of baseball, but it's baseball season, playoff. Let's get it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man.
All right.
That's what we had, bro.
So what's going on? So what you got for us? Who the favorites in the NL?
I mean, honestly,
AL?
and when you look at the favorites, it's been the same three teams the entire season. Honestly, it's been the Astros, the Dodgers, and surprisingly, due to all the injuries, the Yankees. Those have been the teams that have separated themselves. The Astros with amazing pitching. I mean, they got Verlander, who's going to be a Hall of Famer. They got Garrett Cole, and they got Zach Greinke, who might be a Hall of Famer as well. And that combination is the best in baseball right now. So they should get to the World Series with that type of pitching, especially with the lineup they have that's been there before. So in the American League, you got to look at the Astros, and then with the in the National League, the Dodgers have been there, I think, the last 3 years. So with their pitching, with Bellinger, who's probably going to be an MVP, they've had some injuries, but they fought through it because they're just a very deep squad, well-resourced, and they should get in there from the National League. But still is some good matchups. So even tonight, there's the Nats and the Brewers going at it. And I thought the Nationals would pull it out, but with their pitching, but Brewers is on top right now. So it's some good matchups even in the wild cards.
Okay. You mentioned Bellinger as an MVP candidate in the NL. Who are the other MVP candidates in the National League, and what about the American League?
So the other one, you pretty much have Yelich with the Brewers, but he did get hurt at the end of the season, so he didn't put up the numbers, and his team continued to win. I don't think it just played out where voters would give him the vote. So I think Bellinger is gonna pull it out in the National League. American League, dog, is wide open. I can't really say there's any player that is leading it. So I'm real interested to see what that looks like, because there's just a lot of players. This has been a crazy season with the way the baseball's been. Teams have been breaking records with their home runs. Players have amazing numbers. So it's just wide open over there. But it's been a fun season to watch.
Yeah, you know what's crazy to me? And I don't. It's been years. I still can't get used to this. I cannot get used to the Brewers being in the American League and the Astros being the Astros being in the American League and the Brewers being in the National League. I can't get used to that shit. They need to stop doing that to me.
That just shows how old you are, cause
right.
Yeah, it's just how our minds are, been wired. But yeah, it's been like that for a while now. And shout out to the Braves, even though I've put the curse on them since they left downtown. And the Cobb County curse is still in effect, but they got a very fun team to watch, and some young players that were there last year. They're coming back this year. So down in Atlanta, this is the time where baseball fans come out, and SunTrust should be rocking this weekend because the Braves are exciting teams with Acuna and Freeman, and even some of the young pitching. So.
They probably
baseball is back in Atlanta.
Are the damn? I hope Keon Small is listening. But are the Braves averaging more points than the Falcons this year?
Damn, that's terrible, yeah.
Hate.
Shots fired.
Is it really hate if they suck though? Like, I mean, if you suck, like
it's not hate, but that's definitely some shots fired.
That's a shot.
Shout out to you, Keon Small. We love you, sir.
Shout out to Keon. I'm not even going to answer that or research it because it might be true, but I'm not even going to look it up. But great question.
That was a loaded question.
I'm gonna duck that one like I'm a politician that I am, and say next question.
Oh man, you got anything else for us, sir, in the baseball roundup?
Nah, bro, I think that's about it. Just tune in. It's gonna be some exciting brand of baseball, especially with the loaded baseball. Homer's gonna be flying everywhere. It's still kind of hot around the country, and just my personal wish would be a Dodger Yankee World Series, of course, but I'm really expecting a Dodger Astro World Series. But I would love to see the Yankees get there.
I don't think, man. I love my Yankees, but I don't think they're going all the way this year.
Yeah.
That pitching is going to be the reason why too.
It's going to be interesting to see how Severino steps back. If he can regain his ace form, because I think that'll make a difference.
He's just not deep enough on the pitching, man. Some of them other teams got way better pitching.
Well, what the Yankees do have is a bullpen.
Yeah, they got the deep lineup. The lineup is crazy.
No, the lineup and their bullpen. So even when they don't have their great start there, if they can just get it to the 6th inning, they're gonna lock a team down. That's how good their relief pitching has been. So I think that's where the trade-off is. But you're right, the pitching, the starting pitching, just doesn't really compare when you look at. I don't even know if the backup.
I don't know. We'll see. I'm just not. I don't know. I guess I should be a little bit more confident, but. They're crushing at the plate, so that's they're winning games that way. But man, when they get beat, they be getting beat bad.
In the American League, you want to see that.
Yeah.
I hope Sanchez is back. I would like to see a hot bat from him. That would definitely make a difference. But Judge has been swinging a crazy stick recently. So
we just went to a game. This dude was trying to knock it out the Bronx. Like, all right. But yeah, they've been having some hot bats because even Ford stepped up. They got Didi out there killing. Gardner's doing his thing.
Torres
out there, he putting in work.
So all throughout that lineup is a hitter. Even Gardner has been swinging a good stick at points.
Yeah, he's got a pretty decent bat in there. I don't know if this is going to be his last year or not. We'll see.
I hope so.
What I do know at this point, I think we might need to look at Migs and Al starting their own podcast ball. Because
look, I just watched the Yankees and I ain't even. Y'all got way more. I be listening to y'all stuff. Y'all names, the stats. Y'all know who they mama is. I don't.
Well, you could have fooled me because y'all talking about a bunch of dudes and stuff Yankees. I don't know about.
I'm not into it all like that with the other teams and stuff.
Y'all follow all of it. It's good to have evidence that there's another baseball fan out there, though.
I try to stay up. I'm not. I know people that love baseball. And they watch all the teams. I'm not in it that deep like that. I used back in the day, like when I lived down south, I used to watch baseball a little more. Like I loved the Braves growing up because we lived in Atlanta, so I used to go to games and stuff. But I wasn't going to no Yankee game living down there.
All right.
But I just. Yeah.
Well, if it was on, we probably could have broke a record. Because we would have had 2 black baseball fans and 2 black hockey fans in the same conversation. That would have been crazy. Damn.
Y'all rocking for hockey?
Damn you, Money. Yeah, man, Al and Money, hockey fans, man.
I want to go to a hockey game. I don't watch it, but I want to go to just one live, just to go to one.
Yeah, no, that's one of the best sports experiences I've ever had is a live hockey game.
See, I hear it's real dope to be there live.
It is live. I mean, one, it's cold, so that's different to be inside and it be chilly. But then if you can get down low and be by the glass, yeah, it's pretty intense.
Wow, yeah. One day.
Cool. Well, appreciate it, Al. That was Al's Baseball Roundup, ladies and gentlemen. So we will check back in as the playoffs. Yes. Oh, man. Well, Yosh, Scott, Jay, Paul, y'all can wake up now.
I mean, went through all that whole thing and didn't mention the Oakland Athletics once. It's cool.
Not even once. Not even once.
It's cool.
Let me tell you how lost I am. I didn't even know that the Houston Astros were in the American League. So
See?
I thought they were still in the National League.
Right. That's what I'm saying, man.
But hey, if they win the wild card West Coast, if the A's win the wild card, I'll do a recap next week. How about that?
All right. Appreciate that.
We gotta go through this shit again. Nah, but yeah, do that. Oh man, well we're gonna jump into a commercial really quick, and then we're gonna jump into some black actors. So we'll be right back. It's episode 127 of the Defy Life podcast. Are you into comics? I mean, seriously into all things comics? Well, lucky you needs to check out Take a Knee for Marvel vs. DC, where Regular Scott, Ozzy Killmonger, and V's discuss characters, movies, series, books, fan polls, and more. And you never know who may show up for an open mic. Just some blurs going deep and having fun. Take a Knee for Marvel vs. DC. New episode every Sunday, brought to you by the Defy Life Podcast Network. Welcome back to the Defy Life Podcast. Again, this is episode 127. This is J.R. Glymph, your host. That was our guys, Regular Scott and Ozzy Killmonger from Take a Knee for Marvel vs. DC. Definitely check those guys out. Dropping every Sunday here on the Defy Life Podcast Network. With me, again, it's Regular Scott, Alvin Glymph, Hollywood Paul, Movie Man Migs, and West Coast Jay. Guys,
Hey, Jay. Jay.
Yoshi's back. Yosh.
No, I've been here. I've been here. I was listening. I was. They always say when you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. So you just.
Okay. I sent out the wake up call. I hear you. I was like, well, I don't know.
Oh no, I was here.
Okay.
I'm here.
Cool.
I was trying to catch up to everything they were saying. I just got one thing to say.
What up?
Yes, y'all go out and check out Marvel versus Take a Knee for Marvel versus DC. Dope show that never invites people on.
Oh shit!
I'm just saying.
That's not true, yo. They got to think about
so it's
you.
just no.
So it's you they don't invite.
I think it's you.
So it's just me.
Hold on. Wait a minute.
No, it's just me. I'm the only one that's never been invited on. Okay.
Hey, Scott.
Touche. All right. Hey. So let me go ahead and rectify that right now. So I'm extending an invitation to Take a Knee from Marvel vs. DC right here on the Defy Life podcast to Yosh.
Let me say this. Now, first off, y'all got me watching a bunch of shows that I never thought I would watch, so I'm a huge fan. But I do feel as though I listen every week. Every single week I listen to y'all show. And the reason I like listening to shows where I learn things. So I've learned a lot. You guys have taught me a lot about stuff initially I didn't care about. So I really enjoy your show because it's interesting. The banter between you and Ozzy, the information, y'all are really knowledgeable about it. Like I could listen to somebody teach me something that knows what they're talking about. But I'm gonna make this analogy. Last 2 weeks ago, there's an event called the Top 80s. The top 80 basketball players in the state of South Carolina go to a camp. Now, the top 80 always turns into 120 because people can't agree on the top 80. Okay. Out of these 120 kids, I got one of my kids who was not invited into the camp. Kid told me, Coach, they seen my work. If they didn't want to invite me, if you had to talk to them to get them to invite me, I don't want to come. That's all I'm saying. Now, when I get
That's a great analogy.
That was a really good analogy.
When I actually get a real invite, then I'll come. But until then, I feel this is an hollow invite for the show, just for the people. No.
Wow.
You got to give them some time. You got to give them
I got to let some time pass.
A couple weeks.
I got to let some time pass. You know what I'm saying? I thought, like, I even they had a show on the 007 and I totally agree with Scott. I even said it on the comments. Figured that would get me an invite. No love.
Nope. Nothing.
I'm putting in performance out here, Coach. Can't get the invite.
I didn't know, man. Look, listen, People have hit me up to be on the show, like, yo, I'm trying to get on for this. Like, Money hit me to get on about Titans. I didn't know you wanted to be on. I wasn't reading the tea leaves, so that's on me.
Hey, listen, as every female I've ever dealt with says, you should have known.
Oh, so now, wait a minute. So now I done become the female. Now I done become the female in the relationship.
Oh man.
Nah, but just let me know what y'all talking about, man. I've been especially. I just finished the whole season of Jessica Jones. I actually know what I'm talking about with some stuff. Boy, I better not play with me.
Hey, wait, hold on, Yoshi. You going on as Yosh? You going on as Yusef or Coach English? Which one you going on as?
He got to get a nickname.
I might be something totally new that ain't nobody heard before.
Right. Yeah. You got to get a take a knee nickname.
I gotta come through. Now I might have to come through. I lived in Trinidad and I can't tell that story. I'll tell that later. Can't give people everything because I got a whole nother personality.
Wow. Well, we know 3 of them.
See, now you done built anticipation for the appearance.
But that's what we do. That's what.
Little teaser.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, Scott, this is just between me and you. It's just me and you talking right now.
All right, no doubt.
I ain't gonna tell Yosh that I'm gonna be on the show next week. But anyway,
see what I mean? You see what I mean? That's all right.
Hey, come on. Listen, man. That was planned like 2-3 weeks ago.
Okay. Hey, listen. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm a fan. It says, and you never know who's going to show up for an open mic.
All right.
We do know that it's never going to be Yosh, though. That's what you need to put in the commercial.
Come on.
We do know it's never going to be
but
Yosh.
In Scott's defense, when the kingpin comes and knocking at your door, you make a seat at the table. So,
whoa.
Damn.
Hey, that is his nickname on the show. He is the Kingpin.
Kingpin. Okay.
Actually, and West Coast Jay helped give that nickname.
Right.
See, West Coast Jay's been on the show. Migs been on the show. Money been on the show.
Yeah, and not to like give insult to injury, but I think West Coast, you gave me that name when it was me, you, Migs, and Money on the show at one time, right?
Oh,
yep.
Wow.
Yeah, okay.
Wow. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I'm just making sure.
All I hear is all I get from Scott is hard ass questions, emails. That's all I get from Scott.
But Yosh, in Scott's defense again, last
that's
time
the
I
only
was there,
interaction I have with Scott.
last time I was there, I did see a sign with your picture on the wall. I think V's hung that shit up and said, "Do not let this motherfucker in here."
And I forgot to bring that up. My name
V's
ain't
got
been
you
mentioned. My name ain't been mentioned since the beef we had. That's all right though.
Y'all had beef?
V's,
No, I didn't have no beef. Like it was a back and forth.
V's had
Defy
beef.
Life and
V's
take a
had-
knee.
V's created a whole
V's had-
Defy Life versus Take a Knee beef. V's created all that shit.
Yeah, this dude on the final blow was like,
I
yeah,
was
so I
going-
got something to
was
say
going to
about
war
the
in that
Defy
little
Life.
time period. I remember
Let's
that.
see Migs
Right.
there.
Wow.
Oh man.
So
Well,
it's all right.
Just a bystander.
Right.
I want no parts of that.
Dude, I was with Migs. We was just walking down the street, minding our own business.
I was just listening one day and I was
All
like,
you heard
what
was,
is
yo,
this
yo,
you
yo.
got going on here?
oh shit. Well,
Hey,
All right,
Yoshi,
so-
I'm gonna have you on too, for real.
Okay, cool. I'm ready to be there.
Oh, well, Al, it's still on you, man. So the long-awaited revealing of the official Defy Life list of greatest black male actors of all time, it's ready to go. We're ready to reveal it. As everyone knows, about a month ago, we revealed our top 10 greatest MCs, and Al was like, we got to do this again with another list. And this is what we came up with. Al, first of all, let everybody know how this started and where we're going with this and how we got to the results.
So, like you mentioned, it started with the GOAT MC list, and that was a great conversation, a list we were all proud of, but At the end of the day, gets a good representation of the network. And then we said, let's do it again, and came up with the actor concept and went with the top instead of 10. Although we could have did 10, but we cut it short and went with 5. Top 5 Black male actors of all time, and put a dope list together where even had Antoine Fisher on the list. But now I put a great list of actors who have just really did a great job of entertaining us over the last 60, 70 years. I mean, you know what I mean?
And Shemel Moore was on the list as well.
And her too, right?
Yeah.
But it wasn't just the traditional actors that some might. I mean, we had some comedic actors. Just great list. So I'm ready to reveal it. It's a list that honestly I'm proud of. I learned a lot as I kind of looked at people's responses, as well as thought about the different characteristics that I would want on my list. But at the end of the day, man, just like the MCs, it's an impossible task to really come up with a list that everybody's going to agree on. It just comes down to our personal opinions, because acting has changed so much over the years. So before I get into the top 5, let me just shout out all of the actors who got a vote, because out of 100 some odd actors, only 38 actors were actually voted on in the top 10 list.
Wow. Oh, Al.
So wow. Yeah.
Before you proceed, can I give a shout out really quick?
Sure, yes.
I want to give a shout out to one of our loyal listeners, Dixon.
Oh, yeah, yes.
Who actually reached out and was like, man, we teased it last week, and of course he heard it, and he reached out, like, man, I listen every week. How the hell do I get my voice heard? I want to vote. So one of our listeners is actually a part of this vote as well. So shout out to you, Dixon. He actually reached out to me again today, said, hey, when the show dropping? So this is for you, Dixon. Shout out to you, sir.
Yeah, that's what's up, because, I think that's something to consider, like just throwing it out there for the entire, when we say network,
right.
let's just put it out there, and people listen to our show, check out the website, on the podcast site. If they want to vote, let's get their opinion too. Right. So, and see what that looks like. So here's the list of 38 actors out of the 100 plus actors that got a vote for our people's top 10. So you had Anthony Anderson, Anthony Mackie, Billy D. Williams, Blair Underwood, Carl Weathers, Chadwick Boseman, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Cuba Gooding Jr. Well, yeah, if I messed up the name, my apologies.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Danny Glover, David Allen Greer, Delroy Lindo, Denzel Washington, Don Cheadle, Dwayne Johnson, Eddie Murphy, Forrest Whitaker, Giancarlo Esposito, Ice Cube, Idris Elba, James Earl Jones, Jamie Foxx, Lawrence Fishburne, LeVar Burton, Louis Gossett Jr., Michael Clark Duncan, Morgan Freeman, Morris Chestnut, Ozzie Davis, Richard Pryor, Samuel Jackson, Sidney Poitier, Terrence Howard, Ving Rhames, Wendell Pierce, and Will Smith. Wow. That's the list of 36 actors. Let me be accurate. 36 actors out of the 100 plus. So shout out to all those actors for even getting a vote in people's top 10. So
no Antoine Fisher though.
No Antoine Fisher or Shabelle, Shamar, Shemore, Moore, or so let me just jump into the list. I was going to mention that nobody mentioned Tyler Perry, but I'm just going to jump into the list.
Please, onto the list.
So we'll start from 5 down to 1. You had number 5, Samuel Jackson. Number 4, Sidney Poitier. Number 3, Morgan Freeman.
Wow.
Number 2, Will Smith. And number 1, overwhelmingly, Denzel Washington. So that's
wow.
Samuel Jackson, Sidney Poitier, Morgan Freeman, Will Smith, and then number 1 is Denzel Washington.
I can dig it.
Not a bad list.
Not a bad list at all.
So that was everybody's votes for like just the top all time. Is it just based on acting, or what is the criteria here? Is it just their opinions?
Yeah. It's definitely your opinion. I mean, at the end of the day, I did offer some. I always give an introduction in all my surveys, but to be honest, acting is one of those things that at the end of the day, it's up to you what your criteria is going to be about. Mine was, I took into consideration longevity. I took into consideration their range. I took into consideration, like, did they have multiple iconic roles in films? That's what I did. But, it's whatever your scale was, I kind of left it up to you at the end of the day, because I think it should be that, because it's acting. It's an art. It's up to you.
Agreed. So how about everybody just give your
because and let me say
what went
thing
into
before
you
go.
Yeah,
like the last conversation, I had some questions and kind of tried to lead the conversation, but I'm gonna be a smart point guard on this one, and I'm just gonna throw it out there because I know I got some talent on the court that can. We got special guests in here tonight, so I'm not gonna dominate the conversation. I'm just throwing the list out there, and brothers, we in the barbershop now. Go at it.
All right. So I know last week you mentioned that there was a lot of contention surrounding Will Smith. And
that was
Yoshi in particular. Right. And Yoshi in particular spoke up immediately because some people were saying Will Smith shouldn't be in the top 10. And a lot of people, of course, think he should be. Yoshi, what were your thoughts again around the idea of Will Smith not being on this list?
I just thought that he had established himself as an actor in many different roles. He's actually a good actor. If you nix out Fresh Prince and you take all that out your head and you just go, hey, look, what is his body of work as an actor? I thought he's done well. Now, has he had some movies that have flopped? Yeah, he has. But every actor has. So, but I don't think he's ever did a bad acting job. Hell, shit, he even played a gay boy at one point. You know what I'm saying? Like he's been a boxer, been a gay dude, he's been a superhero, he's been like how many different things like that he's been. He's been a villain, he's been a hero, he's been a this, he's been a that, and he continues to get parts. And I mean, I just think that he belonged in the top 10. I wouldn't have put him number 2, but I do feel as though that that's a questionable one, and Sidney Poitier at 4 is extremely questionable to me. But it is what it is.
Okay. So what? I know Al, you mentioned what goes into it for you when you put your votes in. Yoshi, what goes into it for you when you're talking about acting? What do you consider for your criteria?
I considered pretty much the same thing Al did. But then, like, did this person was their characters believable? 1, 2, was I entertained by their characters over many different films? I think Sidney Poitier probably. Well, I'm gonna tell you why he got left off of, and Lynn going to curse me out over this. I can tell you why he got left off of Lynn's list, because all them people like Malik. What was the other one? What was a couple of them guys that's good looking? They was all on Lynn's list. I said, Lynn, this ain't the good looking list. This is about the people.
It was like Idris Elba,
Let me get my
and
list
Morris
together.
Chestnut.
Idris Elba, Morris Chestnut. I said, Lynn, it ain't the good look thing. It's
all right
acting. And she got a pen and paper out. She was like, oh. But anyway, Sidney Poitier I think he just acted in a different time period that his better movies are earlier.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You talking about Let's Do It Again and Raisin in the Sun and Heat of the Night, and it's a lot of these movies that he's done that I just enjoy watching because of his acting. Same thing with Denzel Washington. Denzel Washington, I said I knew he was going to be like a unanimous decision, almost. But there's a lot of movies that Sidney Poitier has done that people in this generation would not know about because they don't watch movies like that.
Yeah, he was second. He was second on my list.
Not that far back. Yeah, he was second on my list, and I think I had him second. Who do we have? Who was 3 and 5?
I think if you had Will Smith second.
It's Will Smith second.
Morgan Freeman was third.
Morgan Freeman. I didn't have Morgan Freeman that high.
I think this is your list, Yosh. Denzel, Sidney Poitier, Will Smith, Jamie Foxx. That sound like you? Samuel Jackson?
Yeah.
Terrence Howard.
Jamie Foxx.
Forrest Whitaker.
And I'm gonna tell you why I said Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx can friggin' act. Period. Point blank. Period. I don't care what nobody say. That man can act.
Definitely.
You don't think he can act?
They all can act.
Yeah, he can act. My only contention with Jamie Foxx would be the longevity.
For his age, he's acted for. I mean, he's not as old as some of these other guys, as far as his acting career is concerned. But since he's been on In Living Color, he's acted consistently.
JR, what do you mean by his longevity, JR?
I'll put it, and Al, you're gonna kill me for this reference, but again, like his longevity at the top, again, like Fred McGriff accounted a whole lot of stats over a 25-year career, but it's
So you're saying Jamie currently is not at the top?
No, absolutely not.
Was he ever?
Not right now. That's what I'm saying. Like,
sir, Jamie Foxx won an Oscar for playing Ray. That's like winning the NBA championship.
Right, and that's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay,
so I'm saying, as opposed to like Jamie Foxx, I think acting is not really something, because awards and like Oscars and stuff like that, those are compliments, not really showcasing your acting skill per se. Those are compliments given by people a lot of times who are paid. So I don't really account for like awards. My thing with Jamie Foxx is like his longevity at like he had Ray, but other than Ray,
I mean,
what did
Ray was a great showcase of acting, and
it was
absolutely.
I mean, he killed that in Ray.
That was the epitome of method acting with mixing character acting, because Jamie, for one, we all know can sing, but the fact that he went to the trouble of becoming Ray, I mean, like living through the steps and then portraying that on screen, I mean, and having the ability of sight to be able to watch the man, and then having the ability to make believe that you are blind yourself, and still have that vocal range to use his dynamic to mimic like almost the exact timbre and pitch of that man that we all knew as Ray Charles. I think that was, if every movie could be tailored that way in some sense, to where we're emulating real life people, I think Jamie Foxx would be the best actor.
But I think when you talk longevity in relation to some other actors,
right?
It's not that he doesn't have longevity or great performances. I agree with everything y'all said about Ray, but when you look at Samuel Jackson, Terrence Howard, Forrest Whitaker, Lawrence Fishburne, Morgan Freeman, like just in where he was on Yoshi's list at 4, to me seemed like, whoa, Jamie Foxx.
Okay. Well, I put him that just when like I said, when I looked at the list, it was for me when I watched them acting. Like what was it? Where did I put them? Because actually, like, this is like the MC argument or whatever. Mm-hmm. I think sometimes it comes down to your preference of who and what and this, that, and the third. And if you're adding in longevity, I think if you put Jamie Foxx on the planet for his, or in his acting realm for as long as Morgan Freeman has been in it, he's just as good, if not better. See what I'm saying? And so I don't. So I'm looking at it like that. Like you can't. If somebody started acting yesterday, you know what I'm saying, and they're friggin' good, are we going to take that away from them if they're friggin' good?
But that would be that's my contention with somebody like Jamie Foxx is when outside of Ray, every other role for me that I see Jamie Foxx in, I see Jamie Foxx.
Even as Don King?
Even
I
especially as Don King. I don't see, like, again, outside of Ray, because that was an amazing job by Jamie. But
so are you saying you see like the comedian Jamie Foxx? No,
I'm not saying necessarily comedian, because I take him seriously as an actor. I'm just saying, like, when I see, like, Morgan Freeman was number one on my list. I don't see Morgan Freeman playing a role every role I see him in. With Jamie Foxx, it's kind of gotten like that to me since Ray. I see Jamie Foxx playing a character. Not necessarily that he's doing it badly. He was great as Muhammad Ali's sidekick.
He was.
As Bundini. He was great. But to me, it was him playing a character. I still saw Jamie Foxx in that role. So it's not about him being a comedian. It's just, I guess, about how, not even believable, but how much I can forget that it's a guy playing a role. You get what I'm saying?
I got you. Yeah, you could tell he's acting instead of just, like, allowing yourself to, willingly suspend your disbelief that this is a real life person.
Right, and I ain't shitting on Jamie, like,
Right, I get you.
At all. It's just like, as Al said, like, and I always say this, whether we talking about actors, rappers, basketball players, anybody, whenever you get into the top 5, you got to nitpick, and I'm nitpicking, definitely. Especially in comparison to like somebody like Denzel or Morgan Freeman, or you get into that realm, you got to nitpick, and that's what I'm doing.
Okay, that's dope. I got you.
Yeah.
I will say this though, in relations to Will Smith in particular, something that came to mind, like when some of these actors, when they play roles, like I see Denzel in all of his characters. Mm-hmm. Like even Muhammad Ali, you still saw the Denzel swag that you saw in Remember the Titans, you saw in Training Day, you saw in Fallen, you saw in many of his movies. You see that same Denzel. When you think of Will Smith, like saying Ali, like that was like I didn't see Will Smith. I saw Ali, like, and kind of like with Jamie Foxx, I didn't really see Jamie Foxx. I saw Ray Charles, and they were able to remove themselves from this character. Will Smith is able to do that, not all the time, but he does it quite a bit.
Well, I thought Denzel, when he played Malcolm X, did that.
I still saw Denzel.
Absolutely, I totally agree. Go ahead. I didn't see Detective, what was his name? Alonzo.
Right.
I didn't see that. I saw Malcolm. Like every documentary I've seen, every public news feed. Like that was who I saw.
Yeah.
For me, it was Remember the Titans. Like he's Coach Boone to me. Like he did it for me in that movie. Like he sold me on that. He Coach Boone.
I think a lot of what y'all saying about Denzel being Denzel, and you see him. I mean, even with Remember the Titans, like you got that thing where it's just he's so good, and you wanna watch him, but it's still Denzel.
Right. Well, that's at the same time we're talking about Hollywood system actors, so everyone has their brand. So that's part of his brand as an actor that you can bank on.
Yeah, that's his name. His name.
Okay. Like every director has it, every writer has it. Like that's just a part of the system that we're using.
True that.
Yeah, because every Denzel movie, you're gonna get a my man, and you're gonna get a I guarantee. You're gonna get. I guarantee you, son. You're gonna get there, right?
That's just the one thing about Denzel that I like is that no matter what character he plays, he always has a Brooklyn accent. And I think he does it flawlessly. It helps. He allows you to forget about that accent and still get into the story. That's just part of his signature,
True. Yeah. Yeah, man. I don't know. Like, so Paul, what goes in, like, everybody, like, Paul, what goes into it for you, like, when you consider actors, and I really wanted to have you and Migs on, and Scott, because y'all's movie game is, especially, it's so deep, but it's from, like, 3 different perspectives. I definitely wanted to get y'all's perspective on it. What goes into it for you?
Well, part of it is can I watch this character or this actor all day, Another part of it is when they play a character, do I want to sit down and have dinner and talk to that character's brain? Like, am I that interested in that character? Another part that goes into it is, looking at the business side of it, can you put that actor in any role and you can bank on it? Are they a box office, sure thing? And that's what, aside from Sidney Poitier being like the pioneer, the godfather of acting for black actors, the one who broke through. Aside from that, that's how I made my list. And of course, knowing background, like training, you know what I mean, like the sacrifices they've made to just be an artist, as Al put it is an art. So how dedicated they are to creating that, the social aspect of what they're doing. Like, can people get together and talk about their work? The therapeutic aspects, like have they changed lives with their art? Do they just entertain the masses? Like, do people constantly talk bad about their work? And if at the same time, looking at the canon of film, could I accept them not being a part of it? If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So like you know what I mean? Like, is there a movie that this actor has done that I could see somebody else playing that role? Like, if that's kind of how I based my.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
So
I always go ahead.
I was gonna say 2 things. One, shout out to my man Rodney, my homeboy since kindergarten, who, when I threw the question out to them who their top 5 was, he sent me this link about this actor named James Edwards, who I had never heard of before. James Edwards is the black male actor right before Sidney Poitier. So he is the one in the 50s who is like doing the war films and is like the first leading black male actor, even though Sidney, to your point, did kind of take it to that next level. But is a good documentary on YouTube, definitely worth checking out. It's only like 10, 12 minutes. But James Edwards, fascinating story. So that's just, I wanted to shout that dude out. But I also wanted to ask Migs, who was your number 1? Do you remember who your number 1 on your list was, or your top 5?
I know Denzel was probably up there. Morgan Freeman, James Earl Jones, probably. Maybe Samuel L. I don't think I picked any younger folks. I don't remember. Yeah, because I'm not even sure.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to pull.
But I think those guys were in there. I'm not necessarily know the order though.
Who had Danny Glover number 1? That's what I want to know.
I think I voted. He wouldn't be number 1 on mine, but I rock with Danny Glover. He, that's tall, man. That's like the TV. That's like the movie dad.
Number 1's a lot though.
Yeah, I wouldn't put him at number 1 either. That is definitely a lot. I mean,
that's a lot.
He's done some cool stuff. I think Murtaugh is kind of iconic for that. But
so you mean to tell me there's angels in the outfield?
Hey, look, everybody got to do their little family Disney movies. That was good in the 90s.
And he did Color Purple.
Hey,
yeah. And look, I rock with Predator 2. A lot of people,
Predator 2 is my shit.
Yeah, Predator 2 was that. Predator 2 was dope.
That might have been one of the scariest scenes in movie history. At least I ain't as deep as you, Migs. But when all the predators started revealing themselves around him,
just like I recently watched that.
That shook
and just
me.
that whole scene, how hard was that dude?
Right.
Like, he went after this motherfucker.
Danny Glover allowed every unathletic looking human being in the world to know that you can be a fucking superhero and go up against aliens and they respect your black ass.
Yeah, like you limping.
I mean, the dude went
you
to the
limping
hood.
before the fight.
Bruh. What was the Rastafarian? What was his name, man?
Oh shit! What was his name?
King Willie.
What was it?
Was it
King Willie.
Yeah.
King Willie. Man, bro, he got into the old school 87 stretch.
Right.
What was it? The Caprice Classic or Lincoln Continental or some shit, and
Classic.
drove over there, smoked all the weed smoke in the whole car.
Right.
Jumped out, talked to the brother. You know what I'm saying? I mean, bro, the dude was connected, man. I mean, he was that nigga. Okay, I'm just gonna say it on your show. He was that dude. And at the same time, at the opening of the film, when they had that big shootout, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Did you see how he wheeled and dealed at the old school car, the black hubcaps, looking like it was RoboCop all over again?
Yeah, my man came in with the little pump action and just went to work. I was like, okay.
357 with the scope on it, dog.
Yeah, Danny Glover's underrated, man.
Yeah, arrogant. Yeah, that arrogant.
Yeah, Danny Glover's underrated as fuck.
But yeah, number one is too generous, though.
Yeah, it is. Danny Glover's over.
I don't know who did that.
I don't know, but so somebody said to me, and this might have been the first podcast I ever did. So this is probably 12 years ago. We were talking about Will Smith, and this was right around the time when I Am Legend was coming out. And somebody said, I like Will Smith, but I can't watch his movies more than once. I never thought about it. Does that ring true to anybody?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, no. You can. I
I can watch
he's got
Men in Black.
He's got some fun stuff.
It depends on the movie.
Yeah, I can watch Bad Boys any day of the week.
Yeah, like who?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about Bad Boys.
Bad Boys
Mike
are like
Lowry.
I'll put it. I've only seen Bad Boys
Independence
once.
Day?
I've only seen.
Day? You couldn't watch that more than once.
Wait, who said they only seen something once?
I've only, and this is why it struck with me because I started thinking about it. I've only seen Independence Day once. I've only seen Bad Boys once. The only Will Smith movie I can watch over and over again is I Am Legend.
Oh, okay.
That's funny.
Wow, that's interesting.
Bro, that's a good choice. When he held the dog and he started crying when he got to kill it, bro.
Right.
I ain't gonna lie, he got me.
In the theater when that happened. That was crazy. I remember that. People was in the theater just bawling, yo.
He got me on that part, though.
Yeah.
When he got to kill Sam.
And I leave it. That's different.
That's surprising, though, that you only seen Independence Day more than once, especially with that one, because that's like one of those movies where, like, if it's on TV, you just kind of watch it. It don't even matter which part it is.
And that's a lot because I'm not a big like sci-fi.
No.
Yeah, I'm not a big sci-fi fan, so it's not that I didn't like it. So
it doesn't really hold up now anyway.
No, what? No, man.
Not for me.
I've never seen Men in Black in full.
Wow. It's so crazy that Will Smith has done so many different sci-fi films, but passed on The Matrix. I don't understand.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I don't understand it.
But you know what?
I watched the interview with that because it was interesting.
You know what I mean?
What's that?
I was saying I don't think he would have worked in The Matrix. Just looking back at how it was and how Keanu and Lawrence played their part.
Never know because they wanted him first, but he told them when they came with the idea that it was too confusing, and then he thought that Wild Wild West would be more marketable and more profitable, just kind of an easy thing to do. Which the soundtrack was okay, but the movie was not.
Trash. Yeah, that was confusing. Why the hell did you take this role?
I think the best thing about Wild Wild West was old girl was naked in that. Old girl from the Jamie Foxx show.
Somehow,
Selma was naked in that.
Yeah, no, they
Garcia Davis.
You got the booty shot with Selma
Hayek.
Yeah, Garcia Bove. Yeah.
In the
fancy.
Yeah, that fancy.
Fancy, yeah.
Yeah, she was naked in the water tower with him.
That's crazy.
But yeah, you got the booty shot with Summer High though. That was nice too.
No doubt. Wow. Well, Al.
Yeah.
The onus is on you, sir. Where we going next with these lists, man? Because I'm starting to like these.
Yo, give me some time and taking on suggestions. But yeah, I'll be on the hunt trying to see what's next. And
well, you know
give
what?
me a few weeks.
You already know what question we're gonna get. We ain't gonna do the female actors, so you might as well put that on the line.
Well, I
on
mean,
the list somewhere.
hey Jay, we could do the female actors. Let's start the female porn stars.
Oh
gosh.
Then we have to get Gardner Minshew's vote, and I don't know if we can reach him.
Hey, doesn't matter. Hey, Al, come up with the list and send that out, sir.
Is it bad? I don't know the names. I just know the category.
Ebony female porn star.
I was about to say some research needs to be done. So put the names in there so I can put that in the search engine.
You know the name. Don't be lying.
You know the name.
Oh, no, the only one I know, the only name I know is Jada Fire. After that, I don't.
I know a couple names. I ain't.
Capri. Capri's another one.
Everybody know Jada Fire. She got them pancake nipples.
Everybody know Pinky. Quit acting like you don't know.
Everybody know Pinky.
Pinky with the two-tone booty now.
No, but Pinky ain't been in nothing in a minute though.
Because didn't Pinky have cooties?
Pinky ate herself out of rolls. You seen Pinky lately? I saw a YouTube clip. You might still be on YouTube. I saw a YouTube clip with Pinky showing up at a strip club in Atlanta. Pinky got to be playing fullback for somebody now, dog.
Hey, that's still a market for that. Look, they still a market for that in porn. That's that SSSBBBBB.
Hey, right. She got her own category. Wow. She is her own category right now. Yeah. I don't know. That may be an episode. I mean, a category we may want to look into.
Yo, y'all wildin'.
Nah. But yeah, we'll shoot out suggestions, and we'll let you take your time and breathe on this for a minute. But yeah, we'll definitely post this list on our social media pages and on GoDefyLife.com, so everybody can check it out and y'all can argue about it. Like I even posted the preview. You know, folks don't like to read, so they ain't even read what I was saying other than the first line, and then I just had 6 pictures up just of people with possibilities. And everybody was like, he shouldn't be on the list. I was like, the list will be revealed on Wednesday, ma'am. Leave me alone. So we'll get this out there and open up the conversation. And other shows across the network, y'all want to talk about it, feel free. And we'll make a whole discussion out of it, and we'll let y'all know when we're going to vote again. Shout out to you again, Dixon. I'll make sure to send the link to you next time.
Yes, sir.
Oh. Y'all ready for some trivia?
Yeah.
All right. So, I don't even know if y'all know, but Frank Gore is one of our favorites here on the Defy Life podcast. We always have good things to say about Frank Gore. Frank Gore, the ageless one, if nobody noticed, over the weekend, Frank Gore moved into 4th all-time in the NFL career rushing yards. Did y'all know that?
I did.
Sure did.
Shout out to the Buffalo Bills.
I'm just sure you did, and I know West Coast Jay did. But shout out to Frank Gore, man. So in honor of the ageless Frank Gore climbing to 4th all-time in career NFL rushing yards, he is now one of 31 players in NFL history to crack the 10,000 career rushing yard mark. My question to you, gentlemen, is who are the other 30? So I have in front of me a list of every player, the 31 players, including Frank Gore, who have rushed for at least 10,000 yards in their NFL career. Outside of Frank Gore, who are those gentlemen? So we will strictly go by seniority here. The way this is going to work is you just go down the list. Give me a name. First person that gets it wrong is out. When there are 2 people remaining, in order to win, you have to get a question right. So you can't win on somebody else's wrong answer. Okay? Everybody clear?
Yep. Ready to go.
All right. So we're going by seniority. Al, that means you will be first. Give me a name other than Frank Gore who has 10,000 career rushing yards. And Al is about to get counted out.
Uh-oh.
10. 9.
That's
8,
an upset.
7. 6.
I can't even think of nobody.
5. 4. 3. 2. 1. Now, question for you gentlemen. I'll let you decide. Are y'all okay with putting Al out of this thing or just move him to the back of the list?
Move him to the back, see if he get back on.
All right, cool. All right, let's see. Yosh, give me your name.
My favorite player of all time, Barry Sanders.
Barry Sanders is on the list, number 3 all time, 15,269 rushing yards. All right, West Coast.
Let's go with sweetness, man. Let me have Walter Payton.
Walter Payton, number 2 all time, 16,726. All right, Scott.
Well, shout out to Al, Emmitt Smith.
Emmitt Smith. I knew that's where Al was going to go. That's why you get moved to the bottom of the list. Number 1, 18,355 yards in his career.
16,000 came behind that offensive line in Dallas.
All right, Migs. Where we going?
Rice.
As Rice is in Jerry. What that? No, sir.
I can't even think of one. I just said a name. Y'all took the main ones I was thinking. Told you I said Rice.
Well, you're gonna kick yourself when you hear some of these names, but okay. Migs is out.
They probably Giants.
Yeah. Paul.
Let me think for a second.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Terrell, what's his name? The dude for the Broncos. Terrell Davis.
Terrell Davis is not on the list, sir. No, sir.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah, Terrell Davis only played 7 seasons. He got hurt, so he didn't reach 10,000 yards. So, all right. So Paul is out. So Migs is out. Paul is out. Well, glad y'all know about movies. And Al is not back, so it is down to Yosh and regular Scott. Oh, and West Coast Jay. Sorry about that.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I am still here, guys.
All right. Miss the show and see what I do with you. Yosh, back on you.
I got to go with, I'm going to take Scott's answer, the Terminator, Thurman Thomas.
Touche. Okay. Thurman Thomas is number 16 on the list with 12,074 yards. All right. Scott?
I only got like 3 names left in my head, so Adrian Peterson is one of the 3.
Adrian Peterson is number 8, 13,408 yards. And outside of Frank Gore, he is the highest active player on this list. All right, West Coast Jay.
I'm going to go with Roger Craig.
Oh, that's going to be tough. I don't know if Roger Craig is not on the list, sir. He did not reach.
Damn.
No. So now it actually is down to you, Yosh and Scott. Yosh, who you got?
I got to take, as a Giants fan, as much as I hated his guts, Tiki Barber.
Tiki Barber is number 27 on the list.
That one I should have known. So yeah, I'm kicking myself.
10,449 yards rushing. All right. Scott? Oh, yeah.
OJ.
OJ is number 21, 11,236 yards in his career. Good one.
I only got a couple left.
OJ.
Yosh.
I'm about to make West Coast kick himself. Ricky Waters.
Ooh. Ricky Waters is number 24, 10,643 yards. Good one.
Damn it, I got the wrong Niner.
Scott?
Oh, God.
Just concede, my son.
No, I got names, but I don't know if they have 10. I don't know if they have 10,000 yards.
Give in to the dark side.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
Let me go with Jerome Bettis.
That's a good one, sir. Jerome Bettis is number 7 on the list. 13,662 yards. All right, Yosh.
For you, Jay, Franco Harris.
Franco Harris is number 15, 12,120 yards. Scott. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I don't know. I don't know. I got nothing.
Yosh, give me one name for the win.
Wait, first on, I have to give Scott something. Now, for the win, my second favorite running back of all time, LaDainian Tomlinson.
LaDainian Tomlinson.
I should have known LaDainian Tomlinson.
6 on the list. 13,684 yards. Congratulations, Josh.
I appreciate it, man.
Names you guys missed on this list, starting at number 31, considering Frank Gore's number 4. Ricky Williams. 10,009 yards. Barely got it. Former Giant Otis Anderson is also on the list. Beast Mode. Marshawn Lynch at 29. Eddie George at 28. Tiki Barber, 27. Thomas Jones at 26. Jamal Lewis at 25. Shady McCoy at 23 with 10,820 yards. The only other active player on this list. Warwick Dunn at 22. At 21 was OJ. 20 was Corey Dillon. 19 was John Riggins. 18 was Steven Jackson. 17 was Fred Taylor. 16, Thurman Thomas. 15, Franco Harris. 14, Marcus Allen. Y'all forgot about him. 13, Edgerrin James. 13. Number 12, can't believe y'all forgot about Marshall Falk. 11, I can't believe y'all forgot about Jim Brown. Come on. Number 10, Tony Dorsett. Number 9, Eric Dickerson. 8, Adrian Peterson. 7, Jerome Bettis. 6, LaDainian Tomlinson. 5, the guy who always gets forgotten, Curtis Martin. And rounding out the top 4, Frank Gore, Barry Sanders, Walter Payton, and Emmitt Smith. So, pretty big names y'all forgot on that list. And I'm sure Al will tell you, Yoshi, that if he was here, he would have named all 32 of them. But we would never know, will we? But
we will never know.
The world may never know.
Right. It's out there in like mystery land, like Scott's scoreless trivia. But anyway,
there's no proof of that. I don't know. I still haven't heard the tapes that supposedly, I didn't go on a trivia. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Hey, Scott, again, I was there. I do know what we're talking about.
Right.
So was I.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. Like I still have not heard these alleged trivia tapes that you all have.
Well, as my daddy used to say to me when I was young, boy, everybody ain't just wake up and decide to lie on you this morning. So.
I like that a lot. I like that a lot. I haven't heard that in a while. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I haven't. Yeah,
I haven't heard that in a long time.
Oh, man. Well, Yosh, you won, man. What you got for me? What's your parting shot, sir?
Hey, all I want to say is, first, moment of silence real quick. So, my daughter got inducted. I want to give a shout out to my daughter who is
I got
killing.
music playing on this end. I ain't know you wanted a moment of silence. Go ahead.
No, my bad. No. I just want to give my daughter a shout out. She's in the 10th grade. She got inducted into the National Honor Society and the National Beta Club tonight.
Yeah.
Straight A student.
Nice.
And I'm extremely proud of her. She already looked at me and said, "Daddy, I need some money." And I hit her with the line my grandma gave me. You don't get credit for doing shit you're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. She looked at me and said, "Okay." And I gave her the Defy Life shirt. Told her to have a good day.
All right. That's worth more than money.
And I want to give a shout out as I put my music in. I want to give a shout out to my co-hosts over at Relationship Status, Neek and CL. And special shout out to CL because CL he told me the best advice he ever got was from a crackhead. And the advice that crackhead gave him was drugs work.
Damn.
That was it.
All right.
Made a whole lot of sense.
Thanks, anonymous crackhead.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So that's my parting shot. Drugs work from a crackhead.
No, apparently so.
They sure do, yo. They sure do.
But that's me, man.
All right. Regular Scott, what you got for me, man?
So again, just thank you for the invite, being on the show. This is a really cool conversation to be a part of. Just wanted to give a quick shout out from my list. I had LeVar Burton in my top 5. I'm just throwing that out there. And check out Take a Knee from Marvel vs. DC. We didn't drop an episode this week. Uncle Oz had something come up, and I had kind of given West Coast was ready to fill in, and then Oz was like, "I'm good." And then I was like, "All right, West Coast, we good." And then Oz said, "Well, I'm not good." And then I didn't want to keep giving West Coast a run around, so we didn't have an episode this week. So we'll be back next week, full strength. Here's a little tidbit for what we'll be talking about. We'll be talking about Magneto and Professor X potentially being cast with people of color, and how I'm just going to tell you I'm very against that, but that's a little teaser for that. So definitely check that out next week. And again, appreciate you letting me come on the show.
No doubt. Shout out to Oz, CL, Neek. Y'all keep doing what you do, man. West Coast, what's goody? What you got for me?
Oh, man, ain't too much, you know. Regular, you could have just said it was cool and I'd have just hopped on. It's nothing. Don't worry about that.
You know, I didn't want to just get you to run around, though. You know, I just told you yeah, then I told you no, and I didn't want to come back and be like, yeah. You know what I mean?
Man, I wish that the other option I had was what I did, which was go to sleep. So, you know, that was what happened. But past that, you know, shout out to everybody out there that's listening. Shout out to Money and Pooh. You know, I gotta give you with the yo. If you're not rocking with Defy Life, what is your life about?
Right.
Gotta get that one for money right quick. But other than that, that's actually about all I got, man. Good show. You know, good job. Shout out to Don Cheadle for being on my list and not making the top 5.
Yeah, no doubt. Oh, man. Migs, what you got for me, man?
Well, I appreciate y'all having me on the show as a special guest. I always enjoy the conversation with the fellas. Check out Movies with Migs. I just screened Joker tonight, so you can check my thoughts on that. I got the quick review up. I'll have a longer, in-depth written review out. Hopefully by tomorrow night, I should have that out, so you can check that out. I'm screening the Will Smith joint next week, Gemini Man, so you can check that out too. And I have some other other things, other little pieces that I got upcoming. I got a little piece on the Matrix in the works. I seen that for the 20th anniversary. You know, it's a big month for movies this month in October. Got some things coming out, some anniversary movies I'm checking out. So, you know, we're doing some things over there. We're getting more people on there, and they checking out Defy Life. So I'm loving it, loving the interaction. So, like I said, I appreciate it all, and keep checking out Defy Life. Check out all the shows. I try to listen to all of them, especially when I'm working out. Y'all keep me rocking while I'm in the gym.
No doubt.
So I appreciate everything that everybody does. And yeah, man, y'all stay doing big things, man. We going into 2020 right.
Absolutely. No doubt. Hollywood Paul Douglas, what you got for me, sir?
Yeah, man, I just want to give a shout out to, Go Defy. Y'all, I love everybody over here, you know what I'm saying? Y'all cool. But also give a shout out to myself. Because, I'm going to be performing at this Atlanta Black Theater Festival in Atlanta.
Damn right.
Going down this weekend, So we got prime time, main stage. So shout out to myself. So keep grinding. And shout out to Migs, definitely. I love your reviews. And man, just shout out to my man Al for sending me the book. I'm going to get started on that pilot. And just thanks for, having me on, definitely. And, you know what I'm saying? I also want to give a shout out to Idris Elba for making my list, because at the same time, going for what a brother was and just his background and be able to come over here and dominate this American market, I think that's pretty dope. So,
and Stringer Bell will always have a place with me.
Bruh. Come on, man. Come on. Right. But yeah, that's all I got, man.
Absolutely. I ain't got nothing crazy. Al, I hope everything all right. I don't know if you got abducted. We'll find out as soon as I finish cutting this show. Priorities, man. But shout out to Pooh. Shout out to Money. But I only got two things. One, again, my weekly update on my favorite football team in the land, the South Fork Panthers. Money. Rocking the Panthers together, man. Another game last weekend, 34-0. So my son's team is now 5-0, going into this week against the only other undefeated team in the league. Nobody's yet to score on my boys' team, so they're killing it right now. So last week was homecoming; they rocked it out. So shout out to the South Fork Panthers. And secondly, I don't want to get too sentimental, but it's rare that I have this many of your voices on one show. So I want to thank you, gentlemen, for everything you do for Defy Life, and everything you do for me. Each one of you have a way of motivating me when I don't feel like doing shit, and I see y'all working. You make me work. So appreciate every single one of you. Yosh, everything you do. So from the network to relationship status to the gear, shout out to you, sir. West Coast, you have been I kind of got a bittersweet relationship with West Coast Jay right now, but he come on the last 2 months and became a listener favorite. So shout out to you, West Coast. Yeah, man. So Paul, keep doing what you do, man. Everybody loves the Memoirs of a Lucky Guy. Everything you're doing in your career, proud of you, sir. Migs, keep pushing the reviews.
Yeah, shout out
man.
to JR. I don't mean to cut you off. Shout out to you for let me get that expression out, man.
Hey.
And hopefully West Coast can get his act together and start editing.
Shots fired.
I know he's going to medical hiatus and everything, but goddamn, man, you know what I'm saying?
He had a meeting in the ladies' room, man, but he's back. And but yeah, man, Migs, definitely. The reviews always on point. You don't know how much money you saved me. From when you say wait for Netflix, I wait for Netflix, and I am never disappointed, sir. So shout out to you, man. Absolutely, and your lovely sidekick, who's always with you. Appreciate both of you. Scott, man, I can't wait for you guys. You got a milestone episode coming up. Considering how far you guys have come with the show, Everybody loves it. See your numbers grow and your listenership grow, man. Proud of you guys, you and Oz, man. So keep doing what you're doing.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, we got the big 5-0 coming up next week, so keep an eye out for that episode. And we're going to have Mr. JR, the Kingpin, on for the 50th episode to kind of look back and reminisce a little bit.
Yeah, and so I can tell you why Morgan Freeman and Denzel should play Professor X. And
let me tell you something. If Morgan Freeman is in a wheelchair floating around, I might lose
Yo, that would be so dope.
Because you'd have to put Denzel as Magneto if you're going to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Morgan Freeman's got to be Professor X. If you're going to do it like that, it's got to be like that.
Oh, man. Can you picture? Oh, man. It's got to happen. It's got to happen.
You got the voice for it.
Right. Well, again, gentlemen, great show. Again, Al, thanks for putting the list together, as always. We'll talk to y'all next week. This has been episode 127 of the Defy Life podcast. Until we speak again, Defy Life.
Defy Life.
Defy Life, yo.
Yo, the summertime is winding down, so it's time to go ahead and get that fall wardrobe together. Check out the new fall line from Defy Life Gear. It's got all new designs, jackets, socks, and you gotta check out the brand new alternate logo. We also got sweatshirts for all the podcast gear you love so much. So go ahead and visit www.defylifegear.com. That's www.defylifegear.com to get your gear today. And remember, Defy Life, lifestyle defiant. It's defylifegear.com.